There's a black DSi in my memory. Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. The cartridge is new. I'm a kid who has no idea that this tiny plastic brick of a game is about to rewrite something in my mind permanently. It's not even that deep of a game. It's a blocky, little Lego game smashing through Star Wars movies I hadn't even seen yet. And something about it reached inside my chest and rearranged the furniture. All right? Hold that thought. I'm going to come back to it because right now I need to talk about Kay standing in an orange wasteland. The whole world is dust and silence and this impossible dying light, and Hans Zimmer's score is stopping to be music and just becoming pressure, becoming weight. And Kay might be the most important person who's ever lived, or he might be nobody at all and he doesn't know yet. And I had to pause the film when I saw this part. I had to stand up and walk around my room because something was working inside of me. These movies have been doing this to people for over 40 years and nobody's fully explained how and why to my recollection. I gotta provide something new to the masses, to the people. But I don't think the answer is about movies. I think the answer is about being alive. Ridley Scott built the world in 1982, and I genuinely don't think he understood what he was really building. All right, Los Angeles 2019, which was the future at the time, but now it's the past, which is kind of crazy. But it's the past, which was the future, but now it's the past, and it's raining, and it's always raining, constantly raining, and there's noodle carts and advertisements the size of buildings and neon lights everywhere, and the Tyrell Pyramid is sitting on the horizon like a monument to something that got too big to contain itself. And underneath all of it, a question the movie never answers and never tries to. What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to feel something? None of it feels like it's trying. The rain isn't trying to be symbolic of something. The neon isn't trying to be atmospheric. It just is. You are Deckard, dropped into something enormous that doesn't care about you. And the disorientation isn't a flaw in the experience. It is the experience. It's basically the fighting game new player experience, but nobody dressed it up as high art. Nobody's giving you a tutorial. Nobody's explaining the command list. You just have to feel your way through it and figure out how the rules are as you go. Then Roy Batty opens his mouth and the whole movie shifts into something else entirely. If the first movie drops you into a world that doesn't care about you, 2049 does the opposite. It builds a world that trusts you completely, which, side note, is more than I could say for the Harrison Ford voiceover for the theatrical cut of the original film, which sounds like a guy reading a hostage note he wrote for himself. We don't talk about it. We simply move on. All right. Denis Villeneuve looked at a world people had been living inside for 35 years and did not try to explain it or expand it the way sequels usually expand things. He made it quieter. He went deeper. Roger Deakins, who is this, beautiful, amazing, artistic, amazing, extravagant person who is a cinematographer for Blade Runner 2049, he shot every frame of Blade Runner 2049 like it was the last frame anyone would ever shoot. The yellow wasteland, the pink sunrise over the protein farms, Las Vegas looking like a wound that never healed, all the gold and all that silence, the snow at the end. Oh my gosh, the snow at the end is beautiful, okay? One of the best places to die. If you know, you know. The world of Blade Runner just lives in your body after you watch it, not as a memory of a thing you saw in your body. You look at rain differently. You look at neon lights differently. You see it everywhere. That texture, that weight, that feeling of a civilization that built too much and now has to live inside of what it built. And I think that's the movie talking to you about the present, even though it's dressed up as the future. That DSi that I mentioned at the beginning, that's what I installed in me before I had the words for it or the movies to prove it. People underestimate how strange and philosophically loaded these characters really are. They're human. They're built by humans. They feel everything you feel. They love things. They're scared of dying. Take Roy Batty, the actual villain of the first movie, who I am now naming Big Sad Terminator Guy because he's the antagonist and somehow also feels the most emotionally put together person in the entire film, which if you think about it too hard is its own video of its own, right? Anyway, Big Sad Terminator Guy, Roy Batty, has seen things you people would never believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion, C-beams glittering in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate, a whole enormous, beautiful, terrible life, and he was built in a lab 4 years ago. 4-year lifespan, and at the end of it, he sits down in the rain and talks about what he saw, and then he's gone. And you cry for the villain because the movie made you feel exactly as much as he felt, and now it's over. All those moments lost in time, like tears in the rain. If you know, you know. And you feel that not just about him, but about everyone you have ever loved, about everything beautiful that does not last. Rutger Hauer improvised some of those final lines because he understood the scene better than anyone. Big Sad Terminator Man wasn't a monster. He was the most human person in the film. He was the one who understood what it meant to have a life and lose it. 2049 takes that idea and just goes so deep with it. Kay has a memory of hiding a wooden horse under a floorboard as a kid, and he holds on to it like it's the most precious thing in the world. And then he finds out maybe it wasn't even his. Maybe none of it happened to him, and he holds on to it even harder because it's the one real thing that he has. That's not science fiction. That's a story about all of us. That's the same thing that happened to me with the Lego game. A feeling I got installed in me before I could consent to it, before I'd even seen the movies it was built from, and it's still mine. And you want to know what memory you could have? The memory of hitting that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, join the Beam team, turn on those post notifications so you never miss a single video. All right, you know, you just gotta throw that YouTube jazz in there because I gotta remind you guys to subscribe because a lot of people aren't subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. All right, let's be best buds. Join the team, join the Beam team. And yeah, now that my e-begging is done, let's get back to the video. The question these movies are really asking you is, where did your feelings come from? Who taught you what you love? Were you shaped by things that happened to you before you could choose them? Your parents' music, the stories you got read to as a kid, the first thing that broke you open? Did you choose any of that? Does it matter that you didn't? Because if the origin matters, then we're all replicants. We all have implanted memories, feelings installed by other people, by the culture we grew up in, by the things that happened before we had a say. We didn't choose to love the things we love. They happened to us. And then we chose to keep loving them. And that choice became who we are. Is that so different from Rachel or from Kay standing in the orange dust trying to figure out if his realness is even real? And I don't think it is. And that's the same fight people had about Rey after The Last Jedi. Remember, everybody was losing it because she wasn't secretly a Kenobi or secretly a Skywalker. She wasn't secretly anybody. That movie, whatever else you want to say about it, understood something true, that finding out you're nobody special and choosing to be someone anyway hits harder than finding out you were chosen the whole time. That's Rey, that's Kay. That's the same argument, two different costumes, one with lightsabers, one with a whole bunch of rain. All right, remember the DSI. This is where it connects in the script. I didn't get to Blade Runner until years after that game finally had its hooks in me, right? Star Wars gave me the language first. Lightsabers, X-Wings, blaster fire, that specific feeling of an impossible world existing just past the edge of a screen, and I got all of it in tiny Lego blocks before I ever saw the actual films. And by the time I finally sat down with Blade Runner, older, I wasn't discovering sci-fi, I already had it in me. What happened instead was recognition. Same frequency, tuned quieter, tuned sadder. The DSI didn't make me love the specific movie. It made me the kind of person who was always going to fall for it eventually. That memory might be slightly wrong. I don't remember exactly how I, played the game or got into the game or played the first level or, beat the game or anything like that. Memory is always a little wrong, but it's mine and I'm keeping it. You see what I mean? You see the dots being connected here, right? When I say that 2049 is beautiful, I don't mean it looks nice. I mean it does something to you. Deakins works at a level where you stop noticing the craft because the craft has become invisible inside the feeling. You don't see a wide shot. You feel alone. You don't see orange color grading. You feel like the world is dying. You don't see snow falling onto the ground and Kay bleeding out alone. You feel like something is ending, and it's okay that it's ending, and you didn't know you could feel that way about an ending. Villeneuve trusts you enough to sit in silence, trusts you to feel something in a wide shot with no dialogue and no music for 30 seconds. He brought his whole self, and he's betting you brought yours too. Kay, whose real name might be Joe, who chose his own name off a list, who might be a miracle or might be a nobody, and the movie is generous enough to let him be both. It doesn't answer the question. It lets him decide the answer matters less than the choice. He decides to be the hero of his own story, even when the story might not be about him. That is such a deeply human thing for a movie to believe, that being real is something you do, not something you're born with. Enjoy the hologram girlfriend, the product, the woman built to make Kay feel less alone. By the end of the film, you're crying over her because she was real. It doesn't matter that she was a program. You feel it, and feeling makes it real. The movie manufactures your feelings about a manufactured being to prove manufactured feelings are still feelings at the end of the day. It's doing the thing it's talking about. It is the argument. Same thing happened to me with the Lego game and in movies I hadn't seen yet. Manufactured, secondhand, built out of blocky little polygons instead of the real thing. And it's mine anyway. Here's the lesson in everything, because there's always a lesson in everything. In every King Beam video, there's got to be a lesson, right? I used to think stories existed to answer a question. You go in not knowing something, you come out knowing it. Mystery solved. Closure, boom, you get the answer, you move on. Life is great, right? Blade Runner taught me that that isn't what stories are for. The best ones make you feel the weight of the question instead of resolving it. They take something you didn't know you were carrying and build a world around it and light that world beautifully and let you watch the people navigate it without ever wrapping it up. You have changed not because you know something new, but because you felt something you hadn't let yourself feel. Big sad Terminator guy died in the rain, and Deckard held Rachel, and Kay chose to be a hero for someone else's story, and all of it adds up to one feeling in your chest. Your life matters, your feelings are real, the things you love are yours even if you don't know where they came from. You are real. Whatever made you, whatever you come from, whatever got installed in you before you chose it. I think about that on bad days when nothing feels like enough. Big sad Terminator guy wasn't asking for more time at the end. He wasn't angry. He was just witnessing. I was here. I saw things. I felt things, and it mattered even though it's ending, even though it will be lost. That's not a depressing thought, even though it sounds like one. It's the most comforting thing that you could do. It means the only thing you have to do is be here, be in the moment, feel things, witness things, and when it's over, it will have mattered because you were there while it was happening. I love this world. I love it the way you love something that changed you before you understood what change felt like. This isn't just love for one movie. This is sci-fi in my heart, in my veins, and it started with the DSi game of Star Wars, and it evolved into Blade Runner and my love for synthwave aesthetics and all that. And yeah, Villeneuve made a 3-hour movie about an android maybe being a miracle, and trusted that we'd stay, and we stayed, and I hope that you stayed and watch this video. If you're still here, please let me know what you think about the video in the comment section below. I answer all the comments. Just, you know, let's start a dialogue and talk about it. Let me know your theories. Let me know if film has ever changed you in the way that sci-fi has changed me. I want to say a big shout out to you guys. Thank you. I just became a YouTube partner, and that's all thanks to you for watching all my videos and dropping a like. I have channel memberships if you want to give me money. I have perks. Yeah, become a member of the Beam team. There's like different levels. I think it's like $3.99 for the base level, but if you care, donate a little mun to the boy. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I love you. Have a great day. Peace out.